Okay, so how do you light box in a church?
Wait a minute. Strike that. Reverse it.
Church in a box. This is a tough scenario because you're setting up every week, you're tearing down every week, and it's actually worse than that because you've got to think about the budget. Volunteers are setting this up, they're tearing it down, drops can happen, spills can happen, accidents happen, but you have to take that in mind where you don't want to buy this $10,000 lighting setup that you're having to set up and tear down every week unless that's you. In which case, go for it, man. That's awesome. But Daniel specifically sent in a question. He leads worship at a chapel in a military base, and they set up and tear down every single Sunday. And he asked, what's the best way to light that? So let's dive into a few different options for this when you're looking at lighting a scenario for church in a box. I'm kind of going to go in descending order of the top two options I want to give you, and then at the very end of the video, I'm going to give something special that I think that you're going to like, save a lot of money, and to have some cool effects going on in church. But we'll get to that in the end of this video. All right, the first recommendation I'm going to give you is Pro Church Lights. Now, they're not paying me to say this. I just love the company. Pro Church Light, they're based in the USA for churches. They help design lighting setups. They can get you all the lights that you need. It's from their company. They build the lights. They do all of that. They can answer your questions. I've done multiple videos with them in the past. Daniel specifically asked about this because he wants to have some moving lights, or at least some that he can change the color to a push of a button maybe whenever he's going between songs. What you'd probably use to control this is Light Key, pretty cheap software you can get for Macs, I believe. I don't know if they're for PC, but you'd have to look that up. And there are lots of other softwares, and Pro Church Lights can recommend some as well. But they can help you get set up with all the lights that you need, get some colored lights in there. And that's a little bit pricier though, although it's definitely not very, very expensive, like most of the really expensive lighting brands for churches today. Pro Church Lights is going to give you some valuable lights for a good price. Again, they didn't ask me to say that. I just wanted to recommend them to you because they're great. But here's my next option, which is probably what I would go with in your scenario. Now, I'm actually using a GVM light right now. I'm going to give you like a low budget, run and gun, DIY lighting setup, okay? This is what I would do. Now, there's a few different ways you could do this. One, you can use the GVM that I'm using, or two, I'll talk about the second one first. You can use Fovitec lights. Now these are around $300 to $400 depending on what kind of a deal you can get for a 2-pack of square LED lights, okay? So these are bicolor as well. You can connect them via DMX. That means you can control these in Light Key or some other software like that, and you get a converter to USB, all that kind of stuff. And then you can control these lights. Now these are great. They're not super bright, but they would work. So here's an example. You could put one on either side of the sanctuary facing towards the middle, with kind of at an angle facing towards whoever's behind the podium, or if you have a podium or not, table, whatever. And that way you can control what color is coming out of there. That way you can match up color temperatures on your cameras a little bit easier. A lot of video mumbo jumbo there. Mumbo jumbo. Does anybody say that? And that's one way you can do it. The next way is, this is what I really recommend. The GVM lights. This is the one I'm using right now. It comes with two different things for around $300 to $400 in that price range. You only get one light, but you get a stand, you get the light, you get a lantern softbox, which is really cool. It's what I'm using right now actually to soften the light, and you get a little piece that you can use to make it extra bright. What you can do is you could put those on and maybe even get two of these lights, put them on either side of the sanctuary or chapel, and shine that directly at the middle. That's going to be extra bright, brighter than the Fovitec lights. And again, it is bicolor too, so you can change the color temperature of the light if you want to, and you can point these, and it's going to be bright and it's going to look good. Here's an example of what that looks like with the GVM lights. And now you are paying a little bit more than the Fovitec lights, but you're getting a much brighter light because it's a different kind of LED light. This is an ellipsoidal light, if I remember correctly, and it'll produce more light from a single source, and that allows you to direct it a little bit more and make sure the light isn't bouncing around everywhere. What you could do is also put on the lantern softboxes if you want to. Now this looks a little bit different, and people might be like, what's this? What's going on in my chapel? But it looks really good, and it's going to give you softer light. Here's an example of what that looks like with the lantern softboxes. You see I'm just standing there, and it's a few feet away, probably 10 feet away or so, but you can definitely get further away and adjust brightness on cameras if you need to. But if the pastor ever wants to do a sit-down talk like this, then you can plug on the lantern softbox and get some really nice soft light. It's a great deal. I recommend this light to a lot of people. Again, not sponsored, just love the light. Now in just a second, I want to talk about a third option that kind of builds on to whatever you want to do. So this third option is going to give you some more color, some more creative lights for around 70 bucks. So let's get into this. But first, I want you to hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this, for streaming, for churches, for social media for churches, specifically YouTube. I help churches build their YouTube channel, and most of the time I see churches are just wasting their time on YouTube. They're just streaming every week to YouTube and not doing anything with it, and to me that is a waste of time, and I want to help you fix that. So if you want to subscribe to that, that'd be great. But let's talk about the third option. I always feel like a Ghostbuster when I'm holding one of these, but here we go. We've got a cheap LED floodlight. Okay, now these are meant to be outdoors. They're waterproof, which means they're tough, they're resilient. I have had some issues with the little plug here, but they still work. So I mean, I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth, you know what I'm saying? These are 70 bucks for a 2-pack. So you get 2 of these lights for 70 bucks. So think about this. These are RGB, so you can do any color on the spectrum that you want to. They also have some built-in effects, which are okay. But if you just want like a simple background light, here's a sample of what that could look like with, per se, the GVM light. And right in this example, they're blue. So I made them blue. I control them via the app on my phone. They're Bluetooth. I've had these for around a year now, and they've been doing awesome. I have a whole video review that I will link to right here if you want to watch that. But thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in that video. Peace.